As the year comes to an end, I decided to reflect on 2019. By the way, I am bintimalu and this is my channel for those who are new, and for those who have been with me through 2019 or part of 2019, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much. We have grown as a family. I've had interaction with a few of you and I look forward to more interaction and more growth in the upcoming year. Now back to my reflection of 2019. It's about to be New Year's, so there's the time. Happy New Year, guys! Happy New Year! It is officially January 1. It is right now 2019 at 12 a.m. the first minute of 2019. I'll start off with the lessons that I've learned. Problems should not always be shared. I'm a firm believer, or I have been a firm believer, that if I have something, I am going to tell it to someone. No matter how I'm going to convey it, no matter who I'm telling it to. Usually it's my friends or someone who is close to me, but I will just put it out there. But 2019, I've learned that you don't have to share all of your problems, mainly because it will affect how others view the person that you're having a problem with. And sometimes we say things in the heat of the moment. Once we say them, we cannot take it back. That's like a permanent effect on that person. So sometimes it's easier to just reflect on your problems, write them down. When you have a nice way of articulating them, then you can articulate them. But if you don't, just try not to share it with other people. I'm not saying that you should bear your burdens alone by any means. Don't. A problem shared is a problem halved, but there are some problems that just should not be shared. People go through a lot to be who they are at a given moment in life. People go through a lot to be who they are. Try not to judge them or point fingers. Everyone is on a journey and we're going to meet people when they're still on their journey to become a better version of themselves. So judging them based on where they are at that moment, not knowing where they've come from or what they have to go through to be who they are, just isn't right. I tell this to myself as well, not to judge other people. I try really hard to see the good in people, and yes, there are moments where I've judged people wrongly. I even have friends. One of my closest friends, in the beginning, I was like, she just isn't someone who would get along. We just don't click. And now she's like a really, really good friend of mine. It's like a best friend. So try not to judge people based on where you found them at a given moment in their life. Don't let fear and uncertainty control your life. I've learned this lesson like at the end of 2019. And it's something I'm going to be carrying on into 2020 because I have a lot of fears, and some of them I have shared them in this channel. And sometimes the fears that I have influence my life so much that I lose my authentic self because of the fears that are controlling me. And also the fact that I can't control the future is very disturbing to me. And there are things I will never be certain of until they happen. So sometimes that uncertainty, is that how you say it, controls my life, and I end up not taking risk, not choosing things that I actually really want because I'm unsure of how it will affect my life, how it will affect people in my life, and how it will end in general. So yeah, I've learned and I'm learning to not let fear and uncertainty control my life. Don't be too quick to apologize. Don't apologize quickly, however you want to take it. So when I started 2019, for me it was like, sometimes you just have to apologize whether you're right or wrong to maintain the peace. Now as I'm ending 2019, I'm realizing don't apologize quickly. If you're gonna apologize, mean it. It doesn't mean that you should continue arguing and cause conflict. It just means that you have to explain yourself and make your viewpoint or where you're coming from understood to whoever you're having the conflict with. And that is something that I have learned to do. So instead of me being quick to apologize just to end conflict and maintain the peace, I try my best to explain how I've acted the way I've acted, and hopefully the person understands me. And the last lesson is, if you push people, they will move. Sometimes I have done things that have pushed people away from me, and like the latest occurrence is when I realized, like a few days ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I pushed someone so far that they might have been not coming back from that. So to say that it was not intentional might not be true. It's not true. I did it consciously knowing that, but I never realized how impactful it will be to my life and to their life. So try not to push people too far, because they will move. Here are my favorite memories of 2019. Roll the footage.
So, for those who have been around, you already know the love I have for my country, Tanzania. And for those who are here for the first time, you are about to find out. Just hold me tight and tell me you miss me. 2019 has been an interesting year in different aspects. This trip was much needed and has left a major footprint in my life. So have all the trips that I've made to Tanzania. Just to clarify, I got to spend time with my family and friends, travel, not as much as I would have liked to, but still enough to be happy, and allowed myself to let go and live in the moment.
It's a hard day. It's a hard time, but that's what we're going to talk about. Fun fact: all my videos, pictures, everything I've been working on YouTube, like my Final Cut files, are destroyed because my hard drive is corrupted and I can't recover anything from it. So I am so frustrated. I can't imagine having backed up my things for so long, that too, but I am so frustrated. And then the other part of me was like, I don't want her to leave yet, because I can't think of life without my grandma. 𝚑𝚑𝚎𝚙𝚙 sermons. If you've never heard of 𝚑𝚑𝚎𝚙𝚙,
I want to preach to you for about 37 minutes today about backseat DJs. Because I suspect that there are some things in your life that are being controlled from the back seat, that are being controlled at a level that you're not realizing that they're being controlled. And I believe that today God is going to use me. And trust me, I've studied. Joy has become more important to me every year that I've been alive. I believe there are some things that are destroying your joy that you are unaware of. And James is going to teach us how to develop joy.
I have shared a couple of the sermons with my friends and just people I interact with, because I think his message is so relevant and he has a great way of conveying it. So I share his sermons a lot. I will have his podcast and the YouTube channel linked down below, but I would really suggest that you listen to him. He's a great preacher, and he's impacted my life a lot this year. 𝚑𝚎𝚎𝚙𝚎, she is a Islam YouTuber. do we say Christian YouTuber and Islam YouTuber? She's Muslim, and a lot of her videos are referencing to Allah and Islamic traditions.
A letter to the frustrated believer. To my dear sister, I'm writing this letter to you with only one intention in my heart: to tell you that you're not alone in this struggle. I can see how frustrated you are. You wake up every morning not knowing why you're even alive, and you go about your day-to-day lost and in a slumber. When the night embraces you, you lie awake, sleepless, because you have a gazillion thoughts and questions running through your mind. Questions like, is Allah even there? Is He even listening? Or is He punishing me? Doesn't He know that day by day, I'm slowly starting to give up on Him?
I try not to limit myself to learn just from my religion. I've come to realize that I can learn so much from other religions, and her channel is one of the channels that have taught me a lot this year. Taraji P. Henderson's interview with Self on living with depression, she talked about her depression and how it affected her life, and how in Black communities, African American communities, it is not talked about, it is a taboo. And I think the same applies to African communities. A lot of people don't talk about depression. They don't believe depression is an actual thing. And when she was just being vulnerable with where she was and how it made her feel and how it affected her life, I think it helped me also realize, like, I've had phases in my life where I could say I was depressed, and I just didn't label it as depression. I labeled it as feeling low. But it helped me to be more in tune and aware of my situations and deal with them appropriately. And now for the takeaways and positives of 2019. I have strengthened a few friendships. A lot of my friendships are the kinds that it's only good times. We don't try to step on anyone's toes. And I think this year, in the friends that I have, there have been a lot of toe stepping, and we've had to confront a lot of issues. I think I've had a fallout with a friend of mine, and we just had to fix that. But there's so much that has gone on in my friendships that has strengthened me so much. A lot of my friends were able to be vulnerable with me, and I appreciated that a lot. And I was able to also be vulnerable with a lot of my friends. And the friends that I have in my life right now are like my core system. They're like one of the people I'm grateful for. Like they're incredible women, and I'm so grateful for them. And I wish that our friendship will last a lifetime. I've also learned, and I'm still learning, to love and value myself. This was not easy. Like, this is one of the toughest things that I've had to do, but it is so rewarding. I've seen changes in my life mainly because I have made a choice to love me and put me first in certain occasions. By loving myself, I've allowed myself to be vulnerable with me, to accept my weaknesses, to accept that I am worth more than what I have believed to be. And I've also been able to not allow people that treat me badly to impact my life. So yeah, my self-love journey is still continuing. I'm still learning a lot, and I think that this is something that's gonna it doesn't take place within a month or 2 months. I think it's a long journey. Each day I have a little bit more courage to love myself more, and it really means a lot to me. In this year, I've been able to stand up for what I believe in, to defend my viewpoints, to defend my situations or how I react to certain situations. And I am a very I've been a very big people pleaser person, but this year I've stepped back from that, and now it's more of I'm doing this because I believe that it is right, and this is why I believe it is right. So that transition, it's not easy. It's really not easy. Anyone who's a people pleaser, I'm sure you'd understand how hard it can be sometimes to stand for what you believe in and to just explain yourself and your situation, and hopefully people understand. But it's something that I've learned to do. I'm still learning to do, taking really small baby steps, but I think eventually I'm gonna get to that point. So 2019 has been an interesting year for me. There's so much I've learned, there's so many things I've experienced, and the word jasiri has had such a big impact in 2019. I've had to be strong in so many cases, and I don't know what the word for 2020 will be, but let's wait and see, and hopefully that word will also have a role to play in my 2020. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and remember to keep spreading the African love, whatever kind of love you have to offer. Kwaheri!
They'll kick us in 1, 5, 4, 3.
Tell me what's wrong with
Oh, it came out.